Maya Greene had been repeating the same line for 3 months, and she was starting to wonder if she was trying to convince her friends or herself. "We're just friends." Her best friend Lee rolled her eyes so hard Maya worried they might get stuck. "Right. You're just friends with the CEO of Kingston Hotels. The man who rearranged his entire schedule last week so he could drive you to your sister's wedding. Very normal friend behavior." Maya shifted uncomfortably in her seat at the coffee shop, wrapping both hands around her latte. "Ryan is considerate. That's just who he is as a person. Besides, my car broke down. What was he supposed to do? Let you take an Uber like a normal person," Lee shot back. "Maya, when are you going to admit that something is happening between you two?" "Nothing is happening. We work together." "Well, sort of. I mean, I don't work for him directly anymore, but we became friends during that project, and now we just hang out sometimes. That's it." The truth was more complicated than Maya wanted to admit, even to herself. She had met Ryan Kingston 6 months ago, when her marketing firm was hired to rebrand his luxury hotel chain. Maya had been assigned as the lead creative director, which meant countless meetings, strategy sessions, and late nights working alongside the man who had built an empire before turning 32. Ryan Kingston was everything Maya had expected from a CEO. Sharp, decisive, ambitious. What she hadn't expected was his genuine warmth, his quick wit, or the way his entire face transformed when he smiled. She definitely hadn't expected to like him, let alone become his friend. Their professional relationship had shifted one night when they were both working late, finalizing a presentation. Maya had made an offhand comment about being hungry, and Ryan had insisted they order food. What was supposed to be a working dinner turned into 3 hours of conversation about everything except hotels and marketing. They discovered a shared love of old movies, a mutual dislike of pretentious food trends, and a surprising number of similar childhood experiences, despite coming from completely different economic backgrounds. After that, the professional boundaries had naturally blurred. The project ended, but Ryan kept calling. Coffee meetings that had nothing to do with work. Lunches where they talked about books and family and dreams. Weekend texts asking if she wanted to check out a new restaurant or see a movie. Maya told everyone they were friends because that was the only label that made sense. Ryan had never indicated he wanted more. He was unfailingly respectful, never crossing any lines. And Maya had convinced herself that the flutter in her stomach when she saw his name on her phone was just the excitement of having such an interesting friend. "You're delusional," Lee said, pulling Maya back to the present. "That man is not just your friend. I've seen the way he looks at you." "What way?" "Like you're the only person in the room, like every word you say matters, like he's constantly fighting the urge to kiss you." Heat flooded Maya's cheeks. "You're reading into things. Ryan is just attentive. He's like that with everyone." "I've met him 3 times, Maya. He's polite to everyone else. With you, he's different, more open, more himself." Lee leaned forward, her expression softening. "What are you so afraid of?" Maya stared into her coffee, watching the foam dissolve. "I'm not afraid. I just don't want to ruin a good thing by projecting feelings that aren't there. Ryan could have anyone. Models, actresses, other CEOs. Why would he be interested in me? Because you're brilliant, beautiful, and you treat him like a regular person instead of a walking bank account." Before Maya could respond, her phone buzzed. Ryan's name appeared on the screen with a simple message. "Dinner tonight. Found a place with the worst reviews. Perfect for our terrible restaurant experiment." Maya couldn't stop the smile that spread across her face. 3 weeks ago, they had started a game of deliberately trying the worst-rated restaurants in the city, just to see if they were actually as bad as people claimed. So far, They had found 2 hidden gems and one place that definitely deserved its 1-star rating. She texted back, "Only if we can get dessert somewhere good after. I'm still traumatized from last time." His response was immediate. "Deal, pick you up at 7, I'll meet you there." "Maya, just let me pick you up. Your car is still making that noise." She sighed and typed, "Fine, 7. Lee was watching her with a knowing expression. "Just friends, huh? Oh, shut up." That evening, Maya changed outfits 4 times before settling on jeans and a soft blue sweater. She told herself she wasn't dressing up, just wearing something nice. The fact that Ryan had once mentioned he liked how she looked in blue was completely irrelevant. He arrived exactly at 7, knocking on her apartment door instead of just texting from the car. When Maya opened the door, Ryan was standing there in dark jeans and a charcoal sweater that made his hazel eyes look more green than brown. His dark hair was slightly messy, like he had been running his fingers through it, and he had that easy smile that made her heart skip. "Ready for potential food poisoning?" he asked. "Always. That's why I keep your number on speed dial. Someone needs to drive me to the hospital." Ryan laughed, and they headed down to his car, a sleek black sedan that he drove himself despite having a driver on call. Maya had learned that was typical Ryan. He had all the trappings of wealth but rarely flaunted them. The drive to the restaurant was filled with easy conversation. Ryan told her about a disastrous board meeting where one of the older members had fallen asleep and started snoring. Maya shared a story about her younger brother's latest dating mishap. "How is Marcus doing with the new job?" Ryan asked, remembering details about her family that sometimes surprised her. "Good. Still adjusting, but he likes it. Thanks again for putting in that word with your friend." Ryan waved off her gratitude. "Marcus got the job on his own merit. I just made an introduction. He's talented." The restaurant was a tiny Thai place in a strip mall, sporting a solid 2-star rating online. The reviews complained about slow service and weird ambience. When they walked in, Maya immediately understood the ambience comment. The walls were covered in a bizarre mix of Thai decorations and what appeared to be American sports memorabilia. A poster of a football player hung next to an ornate Buddha statue. "This is already amazing," Maya whispered as they were seated. Ryan was grinning. "I have high hopes for this place." The server, an elderly Thai woman, took their order with a brusque efficiency that suggested she had no patience for nonsense. Maya ordered pad Thai, and Ryan got green curry. "So," Ryan said once they were alone, "I have to ask you something." Maya's heart inexplicably jumped. "Okay. My mother is hosting this charity gala next month. It's for children's hospitals, which you know I actually care about, so I can't skip it. Would you come with me, like as your date?" The question came out before Maya could stop it. Ryan's expression flickered with something she couldn't quite read. "As my friend. These things are unbearable alone, and you're good at talking to people without wanting to scream. Plus, my mother has been asking to meet you." "Your mother wants to meet me. I might have mentioned you a few times." Maya felt warmth spread through her chest. "What did you say?" "Just that I had a friend who was keeping me sane, that you were smart and funny and called me out when I was being an idiot." He paused, his gaze holding hers. "That you were important to me." The moment stretched between them, charged with something unspoken. Maya felt like she was standing on the edge of something vast and terrifying and wonderful. "I'd love to come," she said softly. "As your friend." Something that might have been disappointment crossed Ryan's face, but it was gone so quickly Maya thought she had imagined it. "Great. Fair warning, my mother is intense. She'll probably interrogate you. I can handle intense." The food arrived, and to their surprise, it was delicious. The pad Thai was perfectly balanced, and Ryan's curry was fragrant and complex. "This is outrageous," Maya said around a mouthful of noodles. "How does this place only have 2 stars?" Ryan was equally baffled. Maybe people just hate sports memorabilia in Thai restaurants, their loss. They ate and talked, conversation flowing as easily as it always did. Ryan told her about his plans to expand the hotel chain into Europe. Maya shared her frustration with a difficult client who kept changing his mind about everything. "Tell him to figure out what he wants or find another firm," Ryan said. "You're too good to waste time on people who don't respect your work. Easy for you to say. You're the boss. And you could be too if you wanted. Maya, you should start your own firm. You have the talent and the connections." It wasn't the first time Ryan had said something like this. He had an unshakable faith in her abilities that was both flattering and intimidating. "Maybe someday," she said. "Right now, I'm comfortable where I am. Comfortable isn't always good. Sometimes you need to take risks." "Is that your CEO wisdom?" "That's my friend wisdom." There it was again. Friend. The word that felt increasingly inadequate for whatever was happening between them. After dinner, they went to a nearby ice cream shop that had a 5-star rating and was, in fact, incredible. Maya got salted caramel and Ryan got dark chocolate. They walked through the neighborhood, eating their ice cream and enjoying the cool evening air. "Can I ask you something?" Maya said, gathering her courage always. "Why aren't you dating anyone?" Ryan was quiet for a moment, his expression thoughtful. "I was wondering when you would ask that." "You don't have to answer, I'm just curious. You're successful, good-looking, reasonably charming when you want to be." "Reasonably charming," Ryan pressed a hand to his chest in mock offense. "You wound me. Fine. Very charming. The point stands. I'm sure you have options." Ryan stopped walking, turning to face her. The streetlight cast shadows across his face, making his expression hard to read. "I'm not interested in options," he said quietly. "I'm interested in finding someone real. Someone who sees me, not my bank account or my last name. Someone who makes me laugh and challenges me and feels like home." He paused, his eyes searching hers. "That's rare, Maya." "I'm not going to settle for less just because I'm supposed to be dating someone." Maya's breath caught. There was something in the way he was looking at her, something that made her wonder if they were talking about hypotheticals or something much more specific. "That makes sense," she managed to say. "For what it's worth, I think whoever ends up with you will be lucky." Ryan's smile was sad around the edges. "Yeah, she will be." They started walking again, and the conversation shifted to safer topics. But Maya couldn't shake the feeling that something significant had just happened. Some line had been drawn that they were both carefully avoiding crossing. Over the next few weeks, Maya saw Ryan constantly. They fell into a rhythm that felt more like a relationship than a friendship, even if neither of them acknowledged it. Morning coffee runs where Ryan would show up at her office with her favorite drink. Lunch meetings that lasted hours. Evening phone calls that stretched past midnight. Maya's coworkers started making comments. Her sister texted her daily asking when she was going to admit she was dating Ryan. Even her mother, during their weekly call, asked about "that hotel man you keep mentioning." "We're just friends," Maya repeated, the words becoming a mantra. But she was lying. She knew she was lying. Somewhere between the terrible restaurants and the late-night conversations, Maya had fallen completely, terrifyingly in love with Ryan Kingston. She just didn't know what to do about it. The night of the charity gala arrived faster than Maya expected. She bought a new dress for the occasion. A deep green gown that hugged her curves and made her feel elegant and sophisticated. She spent an unreasonable amount of time on her hair and makeup, trying to achieve an effortlessly beautiful look that was, in reality, very effortful. When Ryan picked her up, the expression on his face made every minute of preparation worth it. "Maya," he breathed, standing in her doorway like he had forgotten how to move. "You look stunning. You clean up pretty well yourself." That was an understatement. Ryan in a tuxedo should have been illegal. The tailored lines emphasized his broad shoulders and lean build. His hair was styled just enough to look deliberately casual, and his eyes were bright with appreciation as he looked at her. "These are for you," he said, pulling a small box from behind his back. Inside was a delicate bracelet, silver with small green stones that matched her dress. "Ryan, this is too much. It's just a loan. It was my grandmother's. I thought it would go with your dress." He took the bracelet from the box and fastened it around her wrist, his fingers warm against her skin. Perfect. The gala was being held at one of Ryan's hotels, a historic building downtown that had been restored to its original glory. The ballroom was magnificent, with crystal chandeliers and marble floors and enough flowers to supply a small wedding. Ryan kept his hand on the small of Maya's back as they navigated through the crowd, introducing her to what felt like hundreds of people. Business associates, family friends, board members. Maya smiled and made conversation, hyper-aware of Ryan's presence beside her, the way he kept her close like he was afraid she might disappear. "So you're the mysterious Maya," a woman's voice said behind them. Maya turned to find an older woman who could only be Ryan's mother. She had the same hazel eyes and dark hair, though hers was streaked with silver. She carried herself with the confidence of someone who had never doubted her place in the world. "Mom," Ryan said, and there was a warning in his voice. "Be nice. I'm always nice." She extended her hand to Maya. "Catherine Kingston, I've heard so much about you. All good things, I hope. Depends on your perspective. According to my son, you're intelligent, talented, and have impeccable taste in movies. However, you've also been occupying all his free time, which means he never calls his mother anymore. Mom. I'm teasing, darling. Mostly." Catherine studied Maya with an intensity that was only slightly intimidating. "Walk with me, dear. Let's get some champagne and let Ryan do his schmoozing." Before Maya could protest, Catherine had linked arms with her and was steering her toward the bar. Ryan watched them go with an expression that suggested he was reconsidering all his life choices. "So," Catherine said once they had champagne in hand, "how long are you and my son going to keep pretending you're just friends?" Maya nearly choked on her drink. "Excuse me." "Oh, please." "I raised that boy. I know what he looks like when he's in love, and he's never looked at anyone the way he looks at you. We really are just friends, Mrs. Kingston." "Catherine, please. And you're a terrible liar, dear. You love him too. It's written all over your face." Maya felt her cheeks burn. Even if that were true, which I'm not saying it is, Ryan has never indicated he wants more than friendship. Catherine laughed, a bright sound that turned several heads. "My son is brilliant in business and an absolute idiot in romance. He's terrified of ruining your friendship by admitting his feelings. Meanwhile, you're doing the same thing. It's exhausting to watch, honestly. I don't want to assume things that aren't there. Maya, may I be frank with you? I don't think I could stop you if I tried. Probably not. Here's the truth. Ryan has been in relationships before. Nice girls from good families, perfectly suitable matches, but he never brought any of them to family dinners. He never called me to talk about them. He never looked at them like they were his whole world." Catherine placed a hand on Maya's arm. "Whatever is holding you back, let it go. Life is too short to waste time being afraid of happiness." Before Maya could respond, Ryan appeared at her elbow, looking slightly panicked. "Mom, what are you saying to her? Just getting to know your friend." Catherine patted his cheek. "Relax, darling. I haven't scared her off yet, though the night is young." She glided away, leaving Ryan and Maya alone in the crowd. "I'm so sorry," Ryan said. "My mother has no boundaries. She's wonderful. I can see where you get your directness from." That's a diplomatic way of saying we're both pushy. He offered his arm. "Dance with me." The band was playing something slow and romantic. Ryan led Maya onto the dance floor and pulled her close, one hand on her waist, the other holding hers gently. They moved together easily, naturally, like they had been dancing together for years instead of minutes. "Thank you for coming tonight," Ryan said quietly. "I know these things aren't fun. I'm having a good time. Your mother is entertaining. That's one word for her." They swayed in comfortable silence for a moment. Maya was acutely aware of how close they were, how perfectly she fit against him, how right this felt. "Maya," Ryan said, his voice rough with something she couldn't identify. "What are we doing?" Her heart hammered against her ribs. "What do you mean, this? Us? We see each other almost every day. We talk all the time. I know your coffee order and your favorite movies and how you like your eggs cooked. You know about my anxiety dreams and my problems with my board members and exactly what to say when I'm stressed." He pulled back slightly to look at her, his eyes intense. "That's not just friendship, not for me." Maya felt like the floor had disappeared beneath her feet. "Ryan, I'm not asking you to say anything right now. I just need you to know that for me, this stopped being just friendship a long time ago. Maybe it never was." He took a shaky breath. "I'm in love with you, Maya. I have been for months. And if you don't feel the same way, that's okay. I'll accept that. But I can't keep pretending that being your friend is enough when I want so much more." The world seemed to narrow to just the two of them, everything else fading into background noise. Maya could hear her pulse pounding in her ears, could feel Ryan's hand trembling slightly against her waist. "You love me," she whispered. "Completely. Terrifyingly, I love how passionate you get about your work. I love your terrible sense of direction and the way you sing off-key when you think no one is listening. I love that you're not impressed by money or status, that you call me out when I'm wrong, that you make me want to be better." His thumb brushed across her knuckles. "I love you, Maya. All of you. I'm sorry if that ruins everything, but I couldn't keep it in anymore." Maya felt tears prick her eyes, but they were good tears. Happy tears. The tears of someone who had been holding their breath for months and could finally exhale. "You're such an idiot," she said, her voice breaking. Ryan's face fell. "I understand if you don't know, you don't understand. You're an idiot because I've been in love with you for months too, and we've both been too scared to say anything. I kept telling everyone we were just friends because I thought that's all you wanted. I thought someone like you couldn't possibly be interested in someone like me. Someone like you. Maya, you're everything. I love you," she said, the words tumbling out in a rush. "I love your stupid, terrible restaurant game and the way you remember every little thing I tell you. I love how you treat people with respect regardless of who they are. I love how you make me laugh and how safe I feel with you. I love you, Ryan, and I'm sorry I was too much of a coward to tell you sooner." Ryan's smile was blinding. His hand came up to cup her face, his thumb brushing away a tear that had escaped. "So we're both idiots. Apparently. Can I kiss you now? Because I've been wanting to do that for months, and I don't think I can wait anymore. Please." Ryan leaned in, and when his lips met hers, Maya felt like everything clicked into place. The kiss was gentle at first, tentative, like they were both afraid of breaking the spell. Then Ryan's hand slid into her hair, and Maya's arms wrapped around his neck, and the kiss deepened into something that spoke of months of wanting and waiting and finally being able to show it. When they broke apart, both breathless, Ryan was grinning like he had won the lottery. "I should have done that months ago," he murmured against her lips. "Definitely. To be clear, we're not just friends anymore, right?" Maya laughed, joy bubbling up from somewhere deep in her chest. "No. Definitely not just friends. Good, because I have big plans for us." "Oh really? Care to share? How about we start with getting through the rest of this gala without me kissing you in front of everyone? That sounds challenging. Very. But then I'm taking you to dinner tomorrow night. A proper date, somewhere with 5 stars and no sports memorabilia. What if I like the sports memorabilia? Then we'll go back, but let me romance you properly first. They stayed on the dance floor, wrapped up in each other, oblivious to the curious stares and knowing smiles of the people around them. Maya saw Catherine watching from across the room, her expression smug and satisfied. The rest of the gala passed in a blur. Maya met more people whose names she immediately forgot, ate fancy food that didn't taste as good as the Thai place, and drank champagne that made her feel warm and floaty. But mostly, she stayed close to Ryan, reveling in the freedom of finally being able to show how she felt. His hand in hers, his arm around her waist, the casual kisses he pressed to her temple when he thought no one was looking. When Ryan finally drove her home, it was past midnight. He walked her to her door, and they stood in the hallway like teenagers reluctant to say goodnight. "I don't want this night to end," Ryan admitted. "Me neither. But I'm going to be a gentleman and let you get some sleep, even though what I really want is to stay up all night talking to you." Maya smiled. "We can do that tomorrow after our proper date. It's a promise." Ryan kissed her again, slow and sweet. "Thank you for tonight, for everything, for taking a chance on me. Thank you for being brave enough to say something. I don't know how long I would have kept lying to myself. We were quite a pair of cowards, weren't we? Reformed cowards now." Ryan laughed and kissed her once more before reluctantly stepping back. "I'll call you tomorrow. You better." Maya floated into her apartment and immediately called Lee, who answered on the second ring despite the late hour. "Tell me everything," Lee demanded. "You were right. About all of it. I always am. Details, please." Maya recounted the entire evening, from Catherine's interrogation to Ryan's confession to the kiss that had changed everything. "I'm so happy for you," Lee said when Maya finally finished. "You deserve this. You both do. I can't believe I wasted so much time insisting we were just friends. Better late than never. Now you get to have all the disgusting couple happiness that the rest of us have to witness. I'll try not to be too obnoxious about it, please. You're going to be unbearable and I'm going to love it." That night, Maya lay in bed staring at the ceiling, her phone lighting up with texts from Ryan. Sweet messages about how he couldn't stop thinking about her, how happy he was, how he couldn't wait to see her tomorrow. She responded to each one, matching his enthusiasm, feeling like she was living in a dream she never wanted to wake from. Their first official date the next night was at an upscale Italian restaurant, where Ryan had somehow managed to get a reservation despite the usual 3-month wait. He picked her up with flowers, white roses that he said reminded him of her. "Why white roses?" Maya asked as they drove. "Because they're elegant and classic and beautiful without trying to be, like you. You're going to spoil me with all these compliments. That's the plan." Dinner was perfect. They talked for hours, the conversation flowing even more easily now that they didn't have to guard their words or hide their feelings. Ryan told her about his childhood, growing up with wealth but also with pressure and expectations. Maya shared stories about her big, loud family, the chaos of having 3 siblings and the pressure of being the eldest daughter. "I want to meet them," Ryan said. "Your family, if that's not too fast." "It's not too fast, but fair warning, they're going to interrogate you, especially my father." "I can handle it. I survived board meetings with people trying to oust me as CEO. I think I can handle your dad. Don't underestimate him. He's very protective. As he should be, your precious cargo." After dinner, they walked through the nearby park, hand in hand. The night was cool and Ryan gave Maya his jacket without her asking, draping it over her shoulders. I keep pinching myself, Maya admitted. I'm afraid I'm going to wake up and realize this was all a dream. If it is, I'm having the same dream, which would be weird. Very weird. Ryan stopped walking and turned to face her, his expression serious. Maya, I want you to know that this is real for me, not just infatuation or attraction, though there's plenty of that. I see a future with you, a real one. We've only been officially together for 24 hours. I know. But I've known you for 6 months and I've loved you for most of that time. When you know, you know. He cupped her face in his hands. I'm not asking you to have everything figured out right now. I'm just telling you where I stand. I'm all in, Maya, completely. Maya felt emotion swell in her chest, overwhelming and perfect. I'm all in too. This is real for me too. They kissed under the park lights, and Maya thought about how much her life had changed in just one day. How she had spent months denying her feelings, insisting they were just friends, when all along they had been building something much bigger and more important. The next few months were a blur of happiness. Maya met Ryan's family, a gathering that included not just his mother but his younger sister, Emma, who took an immediate liking to Maya and started texting her memes and inside jokes. Ryan met Maya's family at a Sunday dinner that turned into a 4-hour affair with too much food and too many embarrassing stories from Maya's childhood. Her father did indeed interrogate Ryan, taking him aside to the backyard while Maya watched nervously from the kitchen window. "What do you think they're talking about?" she asked her mother. "Your father is either threatening him or asking for business advice. With your father, it could go either way." It turned out to be both. Ryan later reported that her father had started with a stern talk about treating Maya right, then spent 30 minutes picking Ryan's brain about real estate investments. "Did you pass the test?" Maya asked on the drive home. "I think so." "He told me I could come back anytime, which is a good sign, right?" "A very good sign. My father doesn't extend repeat invitations to people he doesn't like." "Good, because I plan on being around for a very long time." They fell into an easy routine. Maya still worked at her marketing firm, but Ryan's encouragement gave her the confidence to start taking on more ambitious projects. She even began quietly laying the groundwork for eventually starting her own company, something Ryan supported with advice and connections, but never money, understanding that Maya needed to build something of her own. Ryan continued running his hotel empire, but he was better at work-life balance with Maya in his life. He left the office at reasonable hours, delegated more effectively, and seemed happier and more relaxed than his employees had ever seen him. They had their first fight 3 months into the relationship, a stupid argument about Maya canceling plans at the last minute because of a work emergency. Ryan had been frustrated that she hadn't called him for help, and Maya had snapped that she didn't need him to rescue her every time something went wrong. "I'm not trying to rescue you," Ryan said, his voice tight. "I'm trying to be your partner. Partners help each other. I know how to handle my own problems." "I never said you didn't, but why do you have to handle everything alone? Why can't you let me in?" The question hit harder than Maya expected. She realized she had been holding Ryan at arm's length in some ways, afraid that needing him too much would make her weak or dependent. "I'm scared," she admitted quietly. "I'm scared of relying on you too much. I'm scared of losing myself in this relationship." Ryan's anger melted into understanding. "Maya, you could never lose yourself. You're too strong for that. Letting me help you sometimes doesn't make you weak. It makes us stronger together." They talked it through, both apologizing for their parts in the misunderstanding. The makeup was sweet and tender, both of them relieved that their first real conflict hadn't broken anything between them. "We're going to have more fights," Ryan said as they lay tangled together on his couch. That's normal. But we'll figure it out, okay? We'll always figure it out. Promise. I promise. 6 months into their relationship, Ryan took Maya on a surprise trip to Paris. He had somehow managed to keep it completely secret, only telling her to pack for a week and trust him. "You know I hate surprises," Maya said at the airport, even as excitement bubbled in her chest. "You love surprises. You just pretend not to because you like being in control." That's a vicious lie, and also probably true. Paris was magical. They stayed at one of Ryan's hotels, a beautiful building near the Champs-Élysées that had been completely renovated while maintaining its historical charm. They spent their days exploring the city, visiting museums and cafes and gardens. They ate croissants for breakfast and drank wine with lunch, and stayed up late talking on the balcony of their suite. On their fourth night, Ryan took Maya to dinner at a small restaurant in Montmartre, a hidden gem that served the best food Maya had ever tasted. After dinner, they walked up to Sacré-Cœur, the white basilica lit up against the night sky. The view of Paris from the top was breathtaking, the city spread out below them in a carpet of lights. "This is perfect," Maya said, leaning against Ryan. "It is, but it's not why I brought you here." Maya turned to look at him and found Ryan pulling a small box from his pocket. Her breath caught. "Maya Greene," Ryan said, and his hands were shaking slightly. "6 months ago I told you I loved you, and you loved me back, and my entire world changed. Every day with you has been better than the last. You make me laugh, you challenge me, you support me, you love me even when I'm being difficult." He opened the box to reveal a ring, a simple band with a single diamond that caught the light beautifully. "I know this might seem fast to some people, but I've never been more sure of anything. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. Will you marry me?" Maya's eyes filled with tears. Her heart felt like it might burst from her chest. "Yes, yes, of course yes." Ryan's relieved laugh was shaky as he slipped the ring onto her finger. Then he was kissing her, and Maya was crying and laughing at the same time, overwhelmed by how much she loved this man, how lucky she was to have found him. "I love you so much," she said between kisses. "So much." "I love you too. Forever." They called their families from Paris, FaceTime calls full of tears and congratulations. Catherine acted like she had known all along, which she probably had. Maya's mother cried happy tears and immediately started planning a wedding. Emma sent a series of excited emojis followed by demands for bridesmaid duties. The rest of the trip was spent in a bubble of engagement bliss, calling each other fiancé with silly grins, looking at the ring every 5 minutes, making plans for their future. "I want at least 2 kids," Ryan said one morning over breakfast, "but I'll settle for whatever you want. I want 3. A nice odd number, 3 works. We'll need a bigger house. Are you planning our entire future right now?" "I've been planning our future since the 3rd time we hung out and you made fun of my coffee order. I knew even then that I wanted you around permanently." "You did not." "I did. I just didn't admit it to myself yet." They returned from Paris engaged and glowing, ready to start planning their life together. Maya moved into Ryan's penthouse apartment, a stunning space with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. They merged their lives with surprising ease, learning each other's habits and rhythms, making room for one another in ways that felt natural rather than forced. The wedding planning was surprisingly fun, mostly because Ryan insisted on being involved in every decision. He had opinions about flowers and cake flavors and seating arrangements. Maya's friends found it hilarious that the CEO, who commanded boardrooms full of powerful executives, was agonizing over wedding invitations. "I want everything to be perfect for you," Ryan said when Maya teased him about his perfectionism. "This is the only wedding I ever plan to have, so I'm doing it right. They got married on a perfect spring day 8 months after the proposal, in the garden of the hotel where they had attended Catherine's charity gala, the place where Ryan had first told Maya he loved her. The ceremony was beautiful and emotional, with both of them crying through their vows. Maya promised to love Ryan through success and struggle, to challenge him and support him, to be his partner and his best friend. Ryan promised to cherish Maya, to respect her independence while being her safe place to fall, to make her laugh every day and love her through everything. When the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, Ryan kissed Maya like they were the only two people in the world, and Maya felt like her heart might explode from happiness. The reception was a celebration with everyone they loved. Maya danced with her father, who whispered that he was proud of her and that Ryan was a good man. Ryan danced with his mother, who told him she had never seen him happier. Emma gave a hilarious maid of honor speech that included several embarrassing stories about Ryan's attempts at romance before he met Maya. But the best part was when Maya and Ryan snuck away for a moment alone, hiding in a quiet corner of the garden. "Hi, wife," Ryan said, grinning. "Hi, husband. How are you feeling? Like the luckiest woman in the world. You, like I can't believe you actually married me. Too late to back out now. Wouldn't dream of it." They kissed slow and sweet, savoring the moment. "Remember when you kept telling everyone we were just friends?" Ryan asked, his forehead resting against hers. "That seems like a lifetime ago. I'm glad you were wrong." "Me too. Best mistake I ever made." They honeymooned in Bora Bora, 2 weeks of perfect beaches and overwater bungalows and uninterrupted time together. They talked about their future, making plans and dreaming dreams. They decided Maya would officially launch her own marketing firm when they got back, with Ryan's full support but not his money. She wanted to build something herself, and he respected that. They talked about where they wanted to live, eventually agreeing on a house outside the city with space for kids and dogs and a proper home office for Maya. They talked about traveling together, all the places they wanted to see. "I want to experience everything with you," Ryan said one night as they watched the sunset from their bungalow. "Every adventure, every challenge, every boring Tuesday, all of it. Even the hard parts, especially the hard parts. That's what marriage is, right? Choosing each other every day, even when it's difficult. I'll always choose you, and I'll always choose you." 2 years after their wedding, Maya's marketing firm was thriving, and Ryan had successfully expanded his hotel chain into 3 European countries. They had bought their dream house, a beautiful craftsman with a big yard and enough space to grow. Maya found out she was pregnant on a random Tuesday in October. She took 3 tests to be sure, then sat on the bathroom floor trying to process the news. She and Ryan had been trying for a few months, but actually seeing the positive result felt surreal. Ryan came home from work to find Maya sitting on the couch, looking shell-shocked. "What's wrong?" he asked immediately, dropping his briefcase and crossing to her. "Nothing's wrong. Everything is very right. I'm just processing." "Processing what?" Maya held up the pregnancy test and Ryan's eyes went wide. "We're having a baby. We're having a baby." Ryan let out a whoop of joy and swept Maya into his arms, spinning her around while she laughed and told him to be careful. "I'm going to be a dad," he said, his eyes bright with tears. "We're going to be parents. Are you ready for this, with you? I'm ready for anything." The pregnancy was relatively smooth, though Maya suffered through some terrible morning sickness in the first trimester that Ryan handled like a champion, holding her hair and bringing her crackers, and never complaining about being woken up at 3 in the morning. They found out they were having a girl at the 20-week ultrasound. Ryan cried, overwhelmed by the image of his daughter on the screen. "She's perfect," he whispered, gripping Maya's hand. "She's already perfect." They spent the rest of the pregnancy preparing, turning the spare bedroom into a nursery, reading every parenting book they could find, attending classes and doctor appointments together. Ryan was involved in every aspect, learning about labor and delivery, practicing swaddling techniques, assembling furniture with an intensity that was both adorable and slightly concerning. You know, babies don't actually need perfectly assembled cribs to survive, right? Maya teased as Ryan triple-checked every bolt. "Our baby is getting a perfectly assembled crib and a perfectly child-proofed house, and the best of everything. She just needs love and safety. The rest is extra. She's getting all of it anyway." Maya went into labor on a warm summer evening, 3 days before her due date. Ryan handled it remarkably well, considering he had been anxious about this moment for months. He timed contractions, drove carefully to the hospital, and stayed by Maya's side through the entire labor, holding her hand and telling her how strong she was. Their daughter was born just after midnight, a tiny perfect human with dark hair and Maya's nose. They named her Rose after Ryan's grandmother, and the moment the nurse placed her in Maya's arms, everything else in the world faded away. "Look what we made," Maya whispered, tears streaming down her face. Ryan was crying too, staring at his daughter with an expression of pure wonder. "She's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. After her mother, of course." Good save. Those first few months of parenthood were exhausting and overwhelming and absolutely magical. They learned to function on no sleep, to decode Rose's different cries, to work together as a team in this new phase of their lives. Ryan was a devoted father, taking paternity leave to be home with Maya and Rose, changing diapers and doing middle-of-the-night feedings and walking Rose around the house when she was fussy. He approached fatherhood with the same intensity he brought to everything else, determined to be the best dad possible. "You're a natural," Maya told him one night as she watched him rock Rose to sleep. "I'm faking it. I have no idea what I'm doing. None of us do. But you're doing it with love, which is what matters." Rose grew into a happy, curious baby who had her father wrapped around her tiny finger. Ryan canceled meetings to be home for bedtime, brought Rose to the office when Maya needed a break, and documented every milestone like it was a newsworthy event. When Rose was 1, they started talking about having another baby. Maya's business was stable enough that she could step back when needed, and Ryan had promoted a COO he trusted to handle day-to-day operations, giving him more flexibility. Their son, James, was born 2 years after Rose, an easy baby who slept well and smiled constantly. Rose was an enthusiastic big sister, wanting to help with everything from diaper changes to bottle feeding. Ryan, holding both his children, looked at Maya with so much love she felt it like a physical thing. "Remember when you kept insisting we were just friends?" he asked. "Are we really still talking about that? I'm just appreciating how far we've come. From just friends to married with 2 kids and a life I never imagined could be this good. I appreciate it too, every day. No regrets, not a single one. You. My only regret is not telling you I loved you sooner, but we got here eventually, and that's what matters." As the years passed, their life together continued to evolve and grow. Rose started kindergarten, bringing home art projects and new friends. James learned to walk and then run, keeping them constantly on their toes. Maya's business expanded, earning industry recognition and awards. Ryan opened hotels in Asia, achieving his goal of a truly global presence. But through all the changes and challenges, the foundation they had built remained solid. They still had date nights, sneaking away to terrible restaurants just for the fun of it. They still talked for hours about everything and nothing. They still made each other laugh, supported each other's dreams, chose each other every single day. On their 10th wedding anniversary, Ryan took Maya back to Paris, arranging for his mother to watch the kids for a long weekend. They revisited the restaurant in Montmartre, walked up to Sacré-Cœur, stood in the exact spot where Ryan had proposed. 10 years, Maya said, looking out over the city. It went so fast, and we have so many more to go. Ryan wrapped his arms around her from behind, pulling her close. I love you more now than I did the day I married you, more than the day I proposed, more than the night I finally admitted I couldn't keep pretending we were just friends. Maya turned in his arms, smiling up at the man who had changed her life in the best possible way. I love you too. Forever and always. Forever and always, Ryan echoed, and kissed her as the lights of Paris sparkled below them. They had started as friends, both too scared to admit what they really felt. But somewhere between the terrible restaurants and late-night conversations, between the charity galas and family dinners, between all the moments big and small, friendship had transformed into love. The kind of love that built lives and created families and lasted forever. Maya had spent months insisting they were just friends, unaware that friends were exactly what they needed to be first, before becoming everything else. Partners, spouses, parents, best friends who happened to be wildly, completely, eternally in love. It wasn't the story she had expected when she first met the CEO of Kingston Hotels, but it was better than anything she could have imagined. Real and messy and perfect and theirs, just friends, she had said. How wonderfully wrong she had been.